All you need is one guy or girl to stand up and say, fuck this. And everyone goes, voice of a generation, thank you. I've been thinking that. I never had the guts to stand up and say it. And all of a sudden, fuck this has a backbeat. You know, what John Lennon always said, say what you mean what you say, put a beat to it. Go.
You only need 5%, or less to, like, embrace ideas and change it and, change the way people think all over again.
There's always going to be people who are artistically inclined who are going to somehow find something that brings them into the same room where they're going to exchange information, and then they're going to take that out.
It becomes a lineage. These people find each other, and this timeline grows.
This is a public service announcement with guitar.
Kicking ass, you're doing something new, and you don't give a shit about fucking commerciality. And that's what punk is.
It's really kind of philosophical thing about how you look at something.
Originally, punk meant, a guy in prison who got fucked up the ass. And that's still what it means to people in prison.
I think it starts with Brando in The Wild One. The famous line for that, of course, was, "What are you rebelling against?" And Brando turns to the camera and says, "What do you got?"
The rebellious part of it is very important because people get too complacent. And I think the fight against that complacency is punk rock.
If you look a little back, you see it was in 50s rock and roll is really punk.
Running across the motherfucking stage on one leg like this duck, like doing some duck walk shit is some punk shit, you know what I mean?
Gone like a cool breeze.
There was your mom's music, and then all of a sudden here comes Elvis Presley.
It's always very important for, like, iconoclastic artists to upset things.
Every culture, every century has a handful of these dudes, guys and girls, who they just go, oh, no, you don't.
Well, I saw a crying, but I'm out on the road again. I'm on the road again.
The hippies were the real punks, if you ask me.
That was just as punk rock as anything, when everyone was against Vietnam and they were doing their own thing, and they were all having parties, taking LSD at Woodstock and all that.
People were sort of united against the war, but they were united generally against the establishment.
I always liked hippies, man. I mean, this country couldn't go wrong with having a lot of hippies, They aren't going to hurt anybody. They just want to get high, hear some music, and fuck,
We wanted punk to wipe out the hippies, blow up the whole world of rock and roll, and start all over again.
Too many teardrops for one heart to be crying.
When I was a kid, they used to call punk rock like Lenny Kaye's Nuggets, those garage bands that he came out with, and that's what I thought punk rock was.
In his liner notes, he said, well, some critics are referred to this as punk, and right after that, you just started sort of seeing that word a little bit.
They were kind of like, young kids, American kids that were trying to copy what the Rolling Stones were doing and some of the other English bands, and weren't really even as professional as them.
I mean, I grew up with the British invasion, but there were also really great American bands that kind of got lost in the shuffle, like Question Mark and the Mysterians, and the Standells, and Count Five, Psychotic Reaction. They were very simple 3-chord rock.
I can't get your love, I can't get affection. Oh, little girl, psychotic reaction. And it feels like this.
There is a school of thought that has Andy Warhol figuring quite significantly in kind of some of the grooves and scratches that became punk rock.
The Velvet stood out from that whole hippie culture with the dressed in black, the wraparound shades, the subject matter of the material, the literary influences, you know, the sadomasochism, the drugs. It was so attractive and so alluring, and I just loved it because it was saying fuck off to the hippies as well.
Opening people's minds up to other possibilities can only be done sometimes with rabid ideas. You're really trying to be polite about it in a way and say, hey, you know, don't you get it? And generally they don't, and you have to like push the boundaries.
Here she comes. You better watch your step.
Nico came and joined the band, and this was kind of the first turn that she took in her career. She was a top fashion model.
'Cause everybody knows.
Nobody understood it at the time, and that's where I suddenly got a different view of Andy, that he had the vision of what PR really is and how to propel image. The astonishing thing about Lou's talent at the time was the literary background, but also he could sit down with a guitar and just pop up a song about almost anything.
Hey, white boy, what you doing uptown? Hey, white boy, you chasing all women around.
But when their record came out, it was actually listenable, you know, and it was, you know, to me, it was a beautiful record. I mean, I played it all the time.
Lou Reed and his crew making this atonal music coming from art and heroin and death in the middle of like feel good. That's punk rock.
Take out the jams, motherfucker!
The MC5 was part of an entire generation that was in agreement that the direction the country was going in was wrong. We were the ones that were going to have to go to Vietnam. We didn't agree with the way they treated people of color in America. We didn't agree with the way they suppressed our cultural efforts, you know, our ideas about things, and we just wanted to be heard.
Well, yeah, our basic outlook was cultural revolution by any means necessary, including rock and roll, dope, and fucking in the streets. That was number one.
We read in the Black Panther newspaper that Huey Newton said there needs to be a White Panther party to do parallel work that the Black Panthers were doing. And we said, that's us. We're ready. Yeah, let's go.
When you get the feeling, you got to suck it out, put that mic in my hand. Let me kick out the jam. Yeah, kick out the jam. Gotta kick 'em out.
One of our songs was called Kick Out the Jams, and we cooked up this intro for the tune where Tyner would scream, "Kick out the jams, motherfuckers." And we knew it was a little bit wicked, you know, and we were kind of breaking a taboo. Gosh, they said a bad word. But what the hell, you know, this is rock and roll and it's all in good fun. Well, when they rushed the album out, the programmers heard the motherfucker and they lost it, man. They lost it. And it effectively broke the back of the